Welcome to Devil's Lake State Park outside of Baraboo, Wisconsin. I am going to do a repeat tour today. I am at the Northern Lights Campground. I did a driving tour of here 3 or 4 years ago, and I'm staying here this weekend and have realized that there are some of the sites that you really have to see individually. Now, this section out here, it's just big open space. Most of the space is the same. And I may just breeze through this, especially since there are so many people here and it's out of my comfort zone. But there's a whole nother section that is in the woods, and you need to see what the sites are like because they are distinctively different. And some just won't work for you, and some will be perfect. So those of you who do know Devil's Lake at all, staying along the railroad tracks over here. Boy, I don't know what to do with my hat today. And the campground is on the east side of the railroad tracks on the exit road. So if you're in the main parking on the north shore of the lake, there's the exit out of the park. That's what this road is. I kind of screwed up on my first attempt. I realized I was backwards in my numbers and started in an absolutely wrong place to start. I'm going to start up here. I think it starts at 104. If you miss the entrance to this, you are out of the park and you have to go all the way around and back in again. So we're going to start down here, I think with 104, and these are wooded sites to start. And I'll walk you through it and we'll sort of discover this order as we go. Now at this point, this is a two-way road here. So people are coming in and coming out. And that's 104. You got the pad there, and there apparently is a place for a tent way up on the hill. Okay, we got 105 over here. Nice and flat space. Goes way back over. So you can have something much larger tucked away off over there. We are on the edge of the world here. Behind here is a main road coming behind the park. Let's see, so 105, 106 here. Off to my right is dump station and dumpsters. Let's see, this is 106 here. Doesn't go much deeper because there's a drop off. And those were electric over there. 109 over here on the right side of this entrance. 107 over here. And since it's empty, I'll show you what I mean by the drop off on the road behind these. But it's fairly flat, not super deep. It's almost better to put things side by side. Park entrance road goes there, and off there is a major connecting road to the area. And you can see with 109, fairly large rig and space behind for another tent way back there. All right, let's see what number. It's supposed to be 110 over here. And 111 tucked off into the woods over there. And we'll get a little gap. Got 112 there, tucked back in the woods, nice and flat. Goes, the power pole's halfway back. Then there's just as much room beyond that for tents and stuff. And you can hear behind me road noise. There's a dump truck going by. And there are several of these CCC built buildings around that are shower houses now that are converted at some point. Shower houses and bathrooms. So shower house back there, bathroom on that side, and it is definitely men's on one side, women's on the other. Maybe 2 stalls of showers on each side. This one currently works. The one nearest me, there was no working shower. Bike falls over. 113. Now I can't see the kids, show you what's going on there. I try not to show kids in my videos as much as I can. But that again, there's a big rock behind where the RV is, and then a huge chunk of space behind that. 114, again, the RV is only part way back, then there's a rock, then the fire pits, and the picnic table. So these sites are bigger than you are allowed to put a vehicle in, and don't think you can be able to overhang your vehicle over those rocks. They're pretty big. A2 is electric. This is considered a handicap accessible site next to the bathrooms and paved pad. 116, really you got the 2 cars and then you hit the rocks, but a whole ton of room over there for your picnic table, fire ring, camping, things like that. So it's a little more of a carry-in, and we're already backed up into the area for 118. The camper's there, but the space goes way out over there. 117 over here, that's fairly large. No real restrictions on putting your vehicle way back there other than the power poles in the middle. 119, that's a fairly large site, wide all around, just do what you want with. Somebody did try to put a swing on a tree at one point. It looks like it's failed. Now we're shifting into, we got 2 more sites that are somewhat wooded, and then we hit the fields, and they're not going to be as detailed in this section. 121, usually that's as deep as it goes, right where it's sitting, but there's a ton of room off to the side where the picnic table and fire ring are. 120, next to all of this, is really tucked back in. They actually get some morning sun, and then after the rest of the day it'll be in the dark. 123, not a big site, slopey up, flat where the tent is, has power. 122 over here. Now that's the campground host. Next to the campground host is a newer shower building for family showers up front, men's and women's in the back. And just to say, this is not current spec for Wisconsin State Parks, because in the bathroom on the men's side, there's only 1 stall. It's not as fit out as you'd think for all of these people. 124, 125 with a little Class C. This empty pad is 126. There's a mystery space here. I think no man's land here with a table, unless it belongs to 127. So that side is kind of tucked in the woods, and then maybe has the side space over there. All right, 128 with the Tesla. There's several of those in town. 129 over here. Not very deep sites, but easy to get in and out of. 130. Oh, so now we're into the pairs. 130, 131, shared sites. 132, 133, book those with friends. 134, 135, and 136 and 137, all pairs. And that brings me back up to where I thought I was going to start this tour, with a pit toilet, where things then split off. We get the Ice Age campground that way, main entrance coming in or towards the main part of the park over that way, and then we're gonna continue around over here. $138 over here. Got 140 over here. We got a power pole and nothing that I can distinguish as a site with it, but there is a playground here, another picnic table over there, so maybe just a place to hang out by the playground. There might have used to have been a site there at one point. Okay, 139, 140 over here, just grassy sites on hills and rolling hills here. This is a lot like what Quartzsite Campground is like here at the Dells at Devil's Lake. Is very similar to this layout and feel. 124, slide way up on the hill, then flattens out for the tent. 141. Got to do a little bit of leveling on all of these. And 143, I guess. Hard to see the sign at this point. 144 over here. Plenty of room for extra vehicles apparently. 145. Get a better sense of 144 there. 146. 147. Just open space, gravel pads where you should be on. 148, long gravel pad there. A3, again, an accessible site next to the restroom. 149, and then we're at the camp host. And I gotta figure out where I'm going next. Probably back up that way. All right, headed back up the hill and start another run down. I got 163 through 193 in my next stretch here. 163 is somewhat isolated in the wooded, but also on the intersection. 164 over here, overlooking the world. 165 on this side. 166. You can barely see the gravel pad going under the tree there. 167. Not a very deep one, just room for a car and your tent. I don't believe these couple here don't have electric. 168. 169 over here without electric, very small pad. Tents, they're just setting up over there where it's somewhat flat. So these have got nice grassy places to put your tents. The wooded sites do not. It's 170. 171 with electric again. 172. Now we got the shower house next to the camp host down there. There's no distinct path to get there. 173 over here. Got a nice tree. 174. No real limitations on that. 175. You are kind of backed up to the shrubs. Picnic table and fire ring are tucked into the woods there. 176. Ton of room here. I don't know, somebody had something set up here too. Tucked into the woods here is 177. So you're in both worlds here. And then our last one over here with the pop-up is 178, and then we'll get into the woods. Now before I get into the woods, that section gets a breeze through it and has less mosquitoes than where I'm going. Definitely more mosquitoes and bugs hiding back down in there. I also just got welcomed by a viewer as I was hiking up there. They just booked a site in Wyalusing from one of my videos, and they made sure to check out the video out here before they came here. They've been hitting lots of the campsites, and they're the type that do want to check them all out. All right, into the woods. 179. I believe the tent is in a different site, just to give you a sense. 180 over here. These aren't huge sites. They're kind of a mix. Check the stats on the system for your lengths. 181. This one's kind of all over the place. There's sort of a flattish area over here, and then it meanders down. Not a lot of flat spots to put a tent. 182. Time to go to the beach. Over there. 181, 83 with Class B. 184 over here, tucked back in. Now there's a tree that they have to dance around and get far enough over to get the slide out on the other side, but they can't open their awning. 185 over here with a pop-up and a ton of room behind where they're living and having fun. There are plenty of water stations around all over the place, more than there are bathrooms, that's for sure. 187 is tucked over here. Let's get back to that. 188, big old site there. There we go. I still can't really see it. Kids in there, so I couldn't really poke in that one. 189 over here. A little snug with everything in there. Not a lot of extra room. 190 has all the room in the world, especially with that little teardrop-esque type trailer. 191 actually has a lot more room to play. You got quite a bit of room there. Drainage ditch coming through, so it's a little tough in and out. 192, this backs up to that shower house that actually works in the old building. 193, I think, is the last on this stretch. And then we're getting back down to basically the beginning stretch down here. And we'll see where I go next. So 183 is my last in this run. Oh, I see. And I got the dump station directly ahead of me. All right, that was 193 to 163 to 193. So mixed in that stretch. I already did 104 to 150, which is starts of the woods, goes into the opening. Now 149 to 146 off this way, which is all woods. 149 is a fairly wide site. 159, this one goes way back in there. Now this is not electric, so this is a great place if you have a group of friends and want to have a lot of tents. You can set up back in here all over because there's plenty of flat places for tents back in here. Now, several of these sites are why I wanted to walk this campground, because some of them are very different, unique, and may or may not work for you. Okay, 196 here, where the cars are. There's a tree behind that where the clothesline is, and there's rocks there, so you can't take a vehicle past that, but plenty of room for tents on the other side of that. I'm gonna have to do a funky little dance here. Let's just do 197 if it's here, and then we'll continue the numbers off that way. All right, this is 197. It is empty, and I'm going to show you what I mean by you need to know what you're getting into. Now, I could come down here. I could get a flat spot right here, no problem. And then the picnic table and fire ring are tucked way back. And there's a few sites like this, so I want to show you this one while I can. And that gives you some isolation from your neighbors. We are backed up to the exit road, the park, and the railroad tracks are beyond that. And once in a while, a train does go by. All right, that was 197 there. I gotta divert and get a couple sites over here, and then we'll finish off back up that way. Okay, 120 over here. Not a lot of flat here. It drops off pretty quick. 119 over here. In the back of the pickup has the big screen TV pointing at the campsite with their backs to the fire. Then we have another one of the CCC buildings here. This one I tried and the shower did not work. At least I don't think it did. All right, I'm going up a fairly steep hill now. And to get to these, you come down the hill and back in. At least this one. At 213. Huh. Okay, 212 here. With the little A-frame. So I'm doing this backwards, I guess. 211. Fairly deep there. Sorry if my breathing is getting a little heavy here. The air is heavy today. We're going to get up into the 90s today with high humidity. We've had several thunderstorms roll through lately, so it's pretty moist out here. 210, decent pad there, and then terraced off with a fire pit. Has just been relocated. 208, big and wide. Not a lot of space for RV or vehicles though. It's all about the tree roots there. 209. And like I said, these are all gravel, more dirt, as opposed to off in the open field. That's all nice grass spots for tents. Working our way up. A water source. 206. Kind of split into two sections here. 207. That's a big, wide open space. Lots of room to play. All right, as we bust back open to the open space, we got 203, 204 as a pair, 201, 202 as a pair, and they are across the parking area for extra vehicles, and another restroom. Much bigger building than is used, and it's really just toilets in there. Flush toilets, but there's a shower in the men's that doesn't work. All right, back down the hill for the last stretch of this campground. All right, 221 here, nice wide site, plenty of space, and it's flat. It's a good flat site. 222, we just have a little section here where vehicles can go, and then an equal amount of space beyond the trees and the rock for tents and picnic table and fire ring. Same kind of thing over here at 224. A little muddy in here, but again, the rocks keeping it from going all the way back. Now once again, I'm on a fairly steep hill going up here. There are several parts, if you look at the campground map, but they actually have no rollerblades specifically marked out, because if you get going on something like this, you're not stopping. All right, 225 over here. Looks like you have a nice big space. However, there's a divot here where water runs down from the other sites and down through. So there's a boom in the middle of the site. 226, backing up to the railroad section side of the park. This is actually a fairly large pad here, not completely level, but equal amount of space beyond as well, beyond the trees and the rocks and the stump. All right, 227 over here. This one is electric. Nice small short flat spot over here. Plenty of width there. 228. Now this one, this is the space. Backs up to its neighbor. You can almost kind of maybe see a little bit back there. Their site tucks way back in. So that number are we here? 230. See where the car is, then it's brush, and then the site is behind that. All right, 229 over here. That's a bit muddy. And this one again had a Tesla earlier that they plugged in so they can get home on a full charge. 230, 230, how does this work now? Yeah, 233 over here. 232, show you that one. So this is like the neighbor over there where I have a place to park here. And then we just keep going. It's like a walk-in carry-in site. And it is pretty muddy. And you can see the neighbor's site is way back there. And then we're up in here, and there's really no flat spot in this site. Maybe a little bit here, but probably what the picnic table is. That's the flattest spot. All right, 234 is my site. I had to go about and buy leveling blocks, and we're still not level, but at least I'm not sleeping on a slope. The only flat spot is way down there where the tent pad is supposed to be. All right, 235. This is a nice site with electric, nice and flat and wide. That tree is kind of a limiting factor back there. This is 236, again, only parking and then tent space behind, but not as long a walk-in as some of the others. 238, small parking area, pad up front, and then more room in the back for tent. 237, tucked in there. There's about equal space behind the camper. 229, pave pad backing up to the facilities back there. And those are some without a shower, even though it says it has a shower. And access is up this muddy little road here. 240 across from that. Oh good, it's empty. This is one that I wanted to really show as well. Long pad here, but it's got a serious slope. I don't think they really want you past the tree or the rock, but there is no power here anyway, so probably not bringing a big rig in here. And really tucked back in here for this site. It's nice and level back here, but it got a tree stump in the way of a vehicle getting in here. 242, sorry. Another long drive in to a site in the back. This one's fairly short, 243. Not a lot of depth there, a little extra space for a tent in the back. 244. That's a medium depth there. You could still fit a small rig in here, but it's really meant, again, as a tent site behind. Two more. 245. Nice wide spot. Obviously tree and rock stopping you there. And then tent and fire ring behind there. Room for a tent. Picnic table and fire ring. That's what I meant to say. And 246 here on the end. And this puts you on the path. This is the closest to the North Shore beach, is this site. 246 here. Again, rocks to keep you from going back further. Picnic table and fire ring back here. You can kind of sneak in over here too, but that's a busy road over there. Well, I've never spotted an owl in daylight before at all. Yeah, I see you, but you're fine. Oh, don't go. Don't go. Well, that's the tour of Devil's Lake's Northern Lights Campground. Extremely varied. You've got the wide open spaces with power or without. Varying depths. You've got the wooded sites, some that are right there on the road, some that you have to work way back in, walk-ins, whatever you want to look at it as. It's a varied campground. That's why I had to give you a detailed tour of it finally. Thanks to the viewer I met along the way today. That was nice to meet you. Get on out there, and if you do see me, happen to be out while I'm giving a tour, go ahead and please stop me and say hi. I do appreciate it. I'll see you on the next one. Get on out there, and watch out for owls. You might see one.